title of the work is 50 beats per minute, 50 BPM, and I'm Linda Dement, and this is Kelly Doley, and we collaborated on that work. The work includes a large 1-ton construction bag that is built to carry explosives, which is leaking many litres of black ink onto the floor. And in the corner there's a tiny little screen with some text, and the audio is Helen Reddy's Iron Woman, which has been slowed down to 50 beats per minute. And 50 beats per minute is the rate at which the human heart is close to failure.
I primarily work in a collaboration called Brown Council with 3 other women, and I've been doing so for about 6 years, and we make live performance and performance for camera together. And I also have a solo practice where I primarily do this project called the Learning Centre, where I get people to teach me on a particular topic in exchange for a painting done by me. So pretty much my work is centred around performance, generally with a participatory element, and I'm really interested in the live moment and that kind of volatile space or exchange that happens between an audience or a viewer and the live body. So recently with Brown Council and in my solo work, we've been quite fascinated with feminism and kind of looking at what feminism means today, and you know, the kind of cringe around feminism and the history of feminism in art and also in politics. Yeah, very much the drive of my recent work is looking at feminism.
So my practice is with digital arts, computer-based work, and I'm, in the last few years, really interested in systems that are out of control or are uncontrollable, and there's been robots and sensors, and also working with fluids a bit. I have been working with digital art for a really long time, probably since you were born, actually. And I definitely was one of the early cyber feminist practitioners. So feminism for me is where I'm home. So I'm really interested in that area as well. And I've been really sort of disappointed and depressed in the waning interest in feminism, in the gradual erosion of women's rights, in this ever-present need to continually push for the rights for women, or for, I don't know, all kinds of things for women. I'm really pleased with what we've done in relation to the other work. It's not interactive at all, and it's not particularly digital art, which the rest of the show is. It simply was us following through to make a cohesive work that was the way it was meant to be. And as we went, we sort of trimmed things aside, including a number of interactive digital sorts of ideas. So in terms of technology, it's really, as you were saying, very organic. Sculptural, installation, fluid. Yeah, but I think that also, for me, what would you say? It's, the show is 7 men and 3 women, and I'm the only one of the women who's from the older generation. And that kind of was odd for me, because I remember that the time in the 80s and 90s was very strongly a women's practice in Australia, really amazing digital artist scene, and that felt really disproportionate and strange. So I was actually, in that way, also really glad that we were making work about feminism.
We were playing around with different images, kind of really different symbols to kind of talk about what we were interested in talking about together, which was like a half-dead, half-deflated feminism. Okay, how do we talk about that visually? And so we were playing around with things that are uncontainable or uncontrollable, like that's Linda's interest and also very much my interest, but more, like I was saying, in a live context. So we were like liquid. Liquid is, you know, or bacteria or something fermenting or something that you start with one action and then from there you have no control over the outcome, was very much what we wanted to look at. So we were playing around with like algae and bacteria and fermentation and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we just came down to this really simple idea of what if we just had a massive amount of something horrible like, you know, black ink, and it just was you know, going everywhere, but slowly, or, you know, not knowing where it was going to go. So yeah, and then materially, we're like, I'd seen these construction bags a lot, and I was like, it's just so big, you know, like imagine building that, it'd be so impressive. But kind of, what's the word, like, the opposite of volatile, it's like, it's lost its fire, it's all strung up and it's lost its power, so playing around with that. And it is really volatile, like we can't, it's like a monster. Sometimes it drips like really regularly, and then other times it would just, like one night there's just big deluge and no one knows why or how, and then it won't drip at all, or it's, yeah, we've created a monster.
It is uncontrollable. It was really stressful in the week that we were installing.
Yeah.
Didn't know if we were going to flood the gallery or if it was just never going to put anything on the floor. And it's sort of bleeding to death, or will it bleed to death? It's that half-dead presence and what's going to happen with that. And
yeah, and so the song kind of comes in nicely here. So the Helen Reddy song, which is slowed down to 50 beats per minute, I mean, and that was a women's liberation anthem, was a big hit. And then to kind of look at that song now and go, how much of those lyrics do I actually feel as a woman now? And, you know, I'm strong, I'm invincible. Yeah, I think sometimes, no, I don't feel like that. And so to stretch out the song like that was really, I think, really tapped into what we were trying to talk about is, you know, it's fantastic. Where are we?